The following is a presentation of KENS TV, San Antonio.
Good evening. I'm Chris Maru. It was February 15th, 1950 when something new came to San Antonio. A brand new television station hit the air, KEYL, with the sign on at 5:55 in the evening. That's when Channel 5 began its legacy in San Antonio. Well, 50 years later, a lot has changed. KEYL is now KENS TV, and yes, we're now in color. Welcome to this look back at KENS 5, 50 years of excellence. We'll show you how times have changed and how some things have remained the same. It's been 50 great years on KENS 5, but to get an idea of where we have come from, we first must go back to the year it all started, 1950. The top movie that year, Bette Davis and All About Eve. On the music charts, Nat King Cole struck gold with the song Mona Lisa. And in politics, America once again found itself in war, just 5 years after surviving the war that was going to end all wars. And KEYL television was on the air. Today, when you watch Eyewitness News, you're accustomed to sharp colors, snappy graphics, and state-of-the-art video. When you contrast that to how we started here at KENS 50 years ago, it's like comparing the Flintstones to the Jetsons. Deborah Nat Bonilla spoke to the first employee in KENS 5 News to show how far we've come.
This is the KENS 5 newsroom today. 18 photographers, 16 reporters, producers, managers, in all nearly 60 people. But 50 years ago, this was the one man who covered all of the news for KENS TV.
He would shoot the stills and then process them and then write the script himself and turn all that over then to the anchor person. So he was the news department for a long time.
Rex got the job because he had experience taking photographs, both in a portrait studio and as an aerial combat photographer in World War II. The first pictures on television newscasts weren't moving pictures.
I would go around shooting these still pictures. This was my first news unit.
What was that?
That was a 1949 Ford station wagon.
Rex had a front row seat to many historic events. He and his wife Betty have a scrapbook full of memories.
Movie stars would come to town to open their movies at the Majestic or Aztec and make personal appearances, and then we'd film them.
His most memorable story?
Without a doubt, it was covering President Kennedy the day before he was assassinated. He was dedicating the aerospace medicine school, Brooksville.
In his 38-year career, Rex met movie stars, governors, and presidents.
They used to call him during the night, and when it was time to go, it was time to go. And if there was a fire, a big fire, or a shooting or something, away he'd go. So I never knew when I could prepare a meal or anything and have it, you know, on time. So it was kind of wild in the early days.
KENS TV has a rich history in San Antonio. It was the day after Valentine's Day, 1950, when the station then known as KEYL went on the air. We started broadcasting February 15th from the Smith-Young Tower in downtown San Antonio. The station was owned by George Storrs. The San Antonio Express News then purchased the station in 1955. They then changed the call letters to KENS, the Express News Station. The operation was moved to the Express News building operating from garage space, and in 1962 the station was purchased by Hart Hanks Communications. Later that decade, KENS TV started broadcasting in color. In September of 1982, the station moved into a new state-of-the-art facility on Fredericksburg Road. In December of 1997, the station was purchased by the A.H. Belo Corporation. Of course, the goal at KENS TV has always been to get the best information on the air. But the road to that goal has gone through more than just a little construction over the past 50 years. Mike Zintek shows us now how our newscast used to look.
We'd have 6 pieces of film, and at 5 o'clock we'd run them in one order, and then at 10 we'd kind of shake the order up and move them another way.
These ceremonies began with a barge ride.
Eventually, KENS made the move to videotape. Cheaper than film and a lot faster to edit.
These are the 2 major blocks, so we have kind of a triple play.
But weather still needed a touch-up or 2.
We had actually went out and bought a patio door, stuck it in there, and then put maps behind the glass. And so we used markers to mark on them, and then we would slide the patio door over. So, you know, very antiquated compared to what we're doing now.
Fly you down and show you what's going on across Texas. Very active.
The change doesn't just mean a better look, it means a better weathercast.
If I can show you a map with real clouds on top of it, real time, real radar on the map, then I can be much more accurate about telling you what's going on.
Eyewitness News at 5 is next.
Kelly Chapman and
the place where KENS gives that information has evolved too.
The set was a lot less, to be kind about it, it was a lot less sleek looking than it is today. You know, just your basic blue background is what it was.
But it's not so basic in the year 2000. Neither are the hairstyles.
Well, when I started out in the 1970s, we had that helmet head look that both Albert and I had.
My hair is kind of like the weather in Texas. If you don't like it, just keep watching. It'll change.
But what's really important is how news coverage has changed just in the last 20 years.
In those days, about all we could do was cover somebody who'd gotten shot, hit, run over, something like that. Actually, the news has grown up a lot.
KENS Television has been leading the way in covering the big stories for a long time. But what are the 10 biggest stories in the last 50 years? We'll start the countdown when we come back.